crampons. It's gonna be an icy one today. It is cold and windy, and we got a little bit of snow today, so it's gonna be an interesting one. But I will admit, this has been a day I've been putting off for a very, very long time. Good morning, guys. How's it going? You're being such a good boy, Toby. You're doing so good. Yes. Geese, what are you doing? Hey. Get back in there. You know how I told you guys I needed to wear my crampons today? Part of it was because of this ice sheet we have here. Oh my gosh. You slipping on the ice is absolutely everything, girl. All right, get back into your pen, guys. So back in the summer, I hatched out my own chickens because I'm allergic to duck eggs, and I wanted my own farm-raised eggs that I could personally eat. So my friend Lindsay gave me a box of fertilized eggs from her chickens, and I popped them in an incubator, and a few weeks later I ended up with 6 little chicks. Been raising them for the last several months. I've come to enjoy them. My wife Allison absolutely adores them. But unfortunately, when you're hatching chickens for eggs, you always have a coin toss going on. 50% chance that it could be male, 50% chance that it could be female. And well, we flipped the coin 6 times and it turned up heads 4 times. And we have actually 4 roosters on the farm. And that ratio of 4 roosters to 2 hens doesn't do anybody any good. I know, I really don't want to have to do this. But it's absolutely time for us to cull them and make them ready for the dinner table and freezer. So now my process for this bird harvest is actually gonna start with when I release the chickens out this morning. I need to separate the 2 hens and the 1 rooster I wanna keep and take the other 3 and hold them off to the side so that they can't access any of the feed, and I can keep them separate for when I have to kind of pull them out to do the deed. All right, rise and shine, guys. Actually, the first 3 that are coming out are actually the 3 roosters I want to take. Hey, easy, pal. The other fellow I need to nab is that rooster right there, standing on the wall. I think I'm actually gonna put them back in their chicken house because at least in there it's kind of dark and that keeps them much more sedate. And I think that might end up being a little bit less stressful for them. So I didn't quite catch it on camera, but I just snuck that one loose rooster into here. Now I just gotta get these other two. This white one keeps trying to spur me. That's not fun, but they definitely made me feel like I made the right choice on which roosters to call. They got pretty aggressive there. All right, buddy, you are officially the grand champion rooster. You're the one who gets to stick around on the farm and propagate future generations of chickens here.
It's good to be the king.
Thank you for this gift. This job is never easy. I mean, the process is pretty straightforward. You kill the birds, bleed them out, you scald them, you pluck them, and then you pull out their organs. I don't know, there's plenty of videos out there that you guys can watch that are gonna show you what to do, and a way better job than I will, so, you know, don't use this as your advice for how to do it. I will say, trying to pluck the birds in freezing cold weather was kind of an interesting twist. You know, I found that once I dunked the birds in there and then pulled them out and started plucking, those feathers froze up pretty quickly. I feel like I have seen a lot of videos out there about people butchering chickens, but I haven't seen a lot of videos of people butchering chickens in the snow, and I'm sure that's for good reason. The birds were of an okay size. Look, these are not meat birds. They're of egg layer genetics, and so they're not intended to grow big and meaty. After I was done with all the butchering and eviscerating and getting the whole business finished, I went and cleaned up. In the past, I've given my entrails to the wild, but this time around, I ended up giving all my entrails to Toby Dog. As my buddy Alfred is prone to saying, butchering is like Christmas for dogs. I also had to hose everything down, which again, when the temperature's in the teens like it is, it's much harder to do that than, say, on a nice fall afternoon. As I've said before, Allison was really attached to these chickens, and so I made a special effort to clean up the blood in the snow and sort of cover it up like it was a crime scene.
That if Bonnie comes home and finds a dead body in her house, I'm gonna get divorced.
Because I knew if she got home and there was blood everywhere, she would freak out.
You got to appreciate what an explosive element this Bonnie situation is.
So during butchering day, I make sure to do it far enough away from the birds so that they don't see what's going on. I kept Toby away because I was worried he might distract me or get into trouble or make a mess, and it's a hassle I didn't need. But Pablo Barn Cat, he was like my butchering buddy. You know, it kind of reminded me of the days of old when it was just me and Pablo on the farm and we would go out and chop wood and do other things, and it's kind of nice to have a little bonding experience for Pablo. And I'm gonna give the chicken hearts to Pablo and Lil for dinner tonight. Hey guys. I don't blame you for running. So all in all, this is not the type of day I like to have on the farm, but it's a very necessary one. When I made the decision that I wanted to have chickens that laid eggs on my farm, recognizing the fact that hatching chickens and sort of just the sheer biology of the world means that you're gonna end up having roosters. And I knew that I would probably have too many roosters for the number of hens that I had. And I knew that I'd ultimately have to harvest them and turn them into meat for Allison and me and our friends and family. But when it comes down to it, that's the cost of good food. That's the cost of good meat. That's the cost of good eggs.
That is the price we have to continually pay.
And now that I know we're keeping these 3 chickens, I think we're gonna need names for them. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know down in the comments. But just a fair warning, Allison is the final decision maker when it comes to chicken names.